Jeremy Harbour is a well-known entrepreneur and business advisor. He's joining us live to talk about some strategies that you can try out now to improve your income amid the pandemic. Good morning, Jeremy.
Hi, good morning. How are you?
Oh, we're great. You know, many Americans are feeling like they're never going to recover. A lot of people have, either lost jobs or taken pay cuts, and that includes baby boomers. So what are some solutions that you have for them to, exit their business and still make a profit?
Yeah, look, I mean, it's this is a recession like nothing we've ever seen before. I think, in a normal recession, there's an event that leads to the recession. This is unusual in that we kind of chose to turn the economy off, for the public health reasons, and so it's a really different crisis that we find ourselves in. But look, some of the biggest businesses in the world are started in recessions, so I think there's a really good opportunity for that side hustle or getting started in business. I think there's a really good opportunity to buy businesses. There's a whole bunch of businesses that will go into bankruptcy or will have to close their doors, but because of the crisis, and I think there's an opportunity to pick up a business in these times. And you mentioned the baby boomers. I mean, the baby boomers they need to transition. They are big business owners. A lot of small to medium sized businesses are owned by the baby boomer generation. They're looking to transition to the next generation. The next generation hasn't typically been interested in their kind of business. They want to do something in tech or blockchain or marijuana or something trendy. So I think now there's a really good opportunity to work with baby boomers in that transition and potentially get a business yourself from the other side of that.
It's interesting. I know we've seen a lot of people look at new opportunities, and for some people who are finding themselves out of work in the service industry, they've been looking for other jobs. Working remotely has become an option for a lot of people. So what are some of the other ways that people could be generating money right now if they're not going to work and clocking in the traditional sense every day?
Yeah, so I think, look, there's in the last recession, I remember people fell broadly into two categories. And there was one category that said, I'm just going to hunker down and wait for everything to go back to normal. And there was another category that kind of went out and did stuff and looked for opportunities in the mess that was being created in the wake of the financial crisis. And I'm seeing the same thing now, which is some people waiting for things to go back to normal. Well, what if it doesn't go back to normal? What if this is the new normal and we're in a period of time where there's going to be lockdowns and unlocks and things like that? Maybe you need to pivot into something else, using your skills to pivot into something else. I mean, I've seen some really innovative things being done by beauticians and hairdressers, or even a wine shop we saw that was doing online Zoom wine tastings, where they would mail the wine to people's house and then arrange a Zoom time where everyone would get together and they would walk them through the different kinds of wines. There's all sorts of things like that where we've seen businesses be able to pivot and actually take advantage of the fact that people are sitting at home getting drunk, I guess.
Yeah, well, we have wineries locally that we've done stories with that are doing that very thing. So yeah, apparently it's working. What's some of the worst financial advice that's being given out right now? Because I assume that there is a lot of bad advice out there, and why shouldn't we follow it?
Yeah, well, look, I think a lot of the financial advice is normally just a bit too late. The old adage, if your taxi driver tells you to buy gold, it's time to sell gold, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of people that are jumping into the stock market because it's really high, or jumping into gold because it's really high, which kind of means you've missed a lot of the boat on the way up. So there are smarter ways to play that game. And I think the other one is, people just saying, look, get everything back to cash and then just sit it out. I think that's, getting back to cash is not a bad idea. But I wouldn't sit it out. I would actively look for where the opportunities are and things, because now is the time. If you go back to previous financial crises, they've been the sort of birthplace of new millionaires and new entrepreneurs. So it's kind of I think it's about not letting, without being too trivial about it, not letting a good recession go to waste.
Okay, yeah. So don't just take all the cash and do nothing with it. No risk, no reward is what you're saying.
Yeah, and don't pour money into buying a business. I think you can structure a deal cleverly to pick up a business without using cash up front. You can use deferred payments, vendor finance, that sort of stuff to to buy a business. I think if you're smart about how you protect your capital going into a deal, then you can. There's some fantastic opportunities out there right now.
Very interesting. Yeah. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Jeremy, and of course for tips. And if you want to check out more of his wallet wisdom, we will have a link to Jeremy's website on KOIN.com. Have a great morning.
Fantastic. Thank you.
Thanks.